Hello, everyone. Thanks for clicking on today's video. My name is Sissy, and I love arts and crafts and sharing my silly thoughts on random things. I recently got into diamond painting after coming across a random video watching someone do it, and I was like, that looks like fun. So, like anything new, I dove headfirst into it. Well, it is fun for like the first three paintings you do. Then after that, it gets a little tedious. Not to mention, it is absolutely exacerbating dropping those ridiculously tiny quote unquote diamonds. For those of you who haven't done this, they are really just tiny plastic raised dots that you have to painstakingly stick onto the sticking paper. And if you are sweaty, God forbid, they stick to you. And when you try to wipe them off, you drop them all over the place. And they fall into your thick carpeted floor, never, ever, ever to be seen again, no matter how hard you try to fish for them. Yeah, it's happened to me more than once. Also, side note, why is it called painting? I feel like it should be more like, I don't know, diamond stabbing or something. So, anyway, when I get those frustrations, I put diamond painting aside for a while and concentrate on something else until I think about it and go, well, there were moments of relaxation for me, and they do come out kind of cute. A little tacky looking, I think, but nothing you can't put on your wall for randomness, right? So I tracked down a ridiculous one. I can't just go simple on anything I do either. It has to be difficult and tedious and ginormous. I need help, people. Seriously. So, in today's background video, I am doing a diamond painting of a bright sunflower arrangement in a lovely vase. Fingers crossed I don't spill all the tiny little thingies all over the place, and I hope you enjoy. Today's topic is about the history of diamond painting, and quite literally today, my random thoughts on random things. I thought it might be fun to start a mini history series, sort of, on the backgrounds of some of the arts and crafts I do. Because today's video background is diamond painting, why not talk about the history behind it? I remember when I first became interested in diamond painting, which was fairly recently, actually, 2020 maybe. I thought it was kind of a fun concept, making art from little plastic quote unquote diamonds and gluing them to a canvas. Kind of reminds me of, oh, what were those called? Do you remember those ironed together little plastic beads that you'd put on a plastic background with teeth to hold the beads and then precariously bring it over to your camp counselor? I remember doing it with someone like a camp counselor, activities person. We were on vacation or at camp or something as a kid, and they would iron it together if the beads didn't fall off the background piece. What was that called? Perler beads, I think. I know they're still around because I see them occasionally at a dollar store or craft store. I always think of it as an iconic camp activity. Anyway, diamond painting reminds me of that craft a little bit. Of course, they aren't iron ons, but I don't know, maybe I'm off. Anyway, I was curious when diamond painting became a thing and why it's a thing, so I did, I'll be honest with you, just a tiny bit of research. I didn't overdo it, so please don't take any of this too seriously, and all citations will be linked hopefully in the description below. If I can't get them in the description, I'll pin a comment with the links to this video. I know I just compared diamond painting to iron on bead creations, but the website craftably.com compares it more to a cross between cross stitch and paint by number, which I also see the comparison there. Although the dates seem to differ among the sites I looked at, it seems like the kind of diamond painting that is popular today was made popular in the early 2010s in China, which makes sense. It is also said that the technique originated in Asia, a quote unquote long time ago, again with no specific date, though one source from coronetdiamonds.com states that real diamonds placed onto art, which of course is definitely not what this is, can be traced back to Italian artist Bernardino Luini in 1598. That is super cool. Although, as much as I love art, if I had the money to purchase real gems and diamonds, I'm not sure I'd put them on a tapestry or adorn my dress in some portrait. Though, if I was that stinking rich, who knows? I hear those billionaires are kind of eccentric, so I wouldn't put it past them. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a whole lot past this info, obviously, because the quote unquote diamonds are plastic and you use glue and wax to stick them to canvas. I wasn't expecting this to be a particularly old art like knitting or sewing. Honestly, I should look more into the history of plastic, though I'm not sure I really want to. Going on a tangent here, I started hearing the word microplastics floating around not too long ago, and I was brushing it off, thinking that people are paranoid. And from what I was seeing, it looked like it was coming from people who are going back to the whole let's live off the land, make everything we need ourselves. And although I think it's totally cool to truly make everything yourself, it's not easy or particularly practical in this day and age. However, I kept hearing that word microplastics and started looking into it. The rabbit hole I went down. Guys, I started to panic. I kid you not. Then I was all, I can combat this. I can make everything myself. We'll throw away everything that has microplastics. Then I was like, how practical is that? Microplastics seem to be in literally everything. And then I thought, well, it's too late for me. I deal with it and hope for the best. I went through what I felt like were the 7 stages of grief. Essentially, I've come to the conclusion that I think it's important to make conscious choices about what I eat, wear, drink, do, etc. I say as I do my 1000% plastic made in China craft. Oh, the irony. But not let the fear and terror rule my life because I know there are millions of things out there that are probably bad for me, but I use in my everyday life. I feel like the only way I could get away is if I managed to disappear in the woods somehow and quite literally live off the land, although then you get into things like acid rain and contaminated soil. Ugh, I don't know. What do you all think? Sometimes I think ignorance is bliss. I really do. Well, the other irony is that after going down the rabbit hole I did, I still went and ate things like chocolate and wore my 100% polyester clothes. So there. Obviously, I don't care that much. I feel for parents, for example, who try so hard to raise their children in ways to keep them healthy. I'm not talking about extremes, you know what I mean? I don't mean that. I mean, like, I knew kids when I was growing up whose parents kept a very close eye on their sugar intake or the amount of processed foods they ate. I think my parents tried too, but it's so hard these days. I don't remember knowing anyone whose parents only dressed them in 100% cotton, for example, or anything like that, but I did know a kid whose parents didn't believe in shoes. Seriously, which is kind of gross when you think about it. Also, how did they go places that require shoes? That I don't remember. I just remember the kid and his parents were kind of oddballs, but maybe they had something going for them. Sometimes I wonder about the ways that we might be hurting ourselves in this day and age with the technology we use. Like when people wore toxic green fabric and green wallpaper made from arsenic, I think it was, or when lead was in so many things that we now know is bad, or when asbestos was totally fine, you know what I mean? Sometimes I wonder what we use today that 50 years from now will be found to be laced with something that hurts us. Like I found out recently that fluoride is really bad in high doses, and of course I'm still brushing my teeth, but still, doesn't it make you wonder? It's like the microplastics. That's another thing, though, like the microplastics, that sometimes I really wish I was just ignorant about it. Sort of. But then I'm also happy I'm being made aware of what's going on in the world. Such a toss up of feelings of, well, I want to know, but I also don't want to know. Back to the diamond painting, though, I do feel guilty doing it sometimes because of all the plastic. Each project is covered in a plastic cover when you have to take it off. All the little quote unquote diamonds are made of plastics, they're in plastic containers. And well, actually, I think the entire thing is probably made of some type of plastic, even the canvas it's on, because I doubt it's real canvas. Huh. But like the rabbit hole before, then I start thinking about all the other things that are plastic. And it makes me wonder a little bit more. I know that in theory, if I and others stop buying such things, they should go out of style and no longer be made, right? Well, what happens then to all the products already mass produced? I mean, they're out there anyway, so if I do purchase something, does that really contribute to the waste if the product is already made? I guess I'm just saying, I feel like in order to make a true difference in boycotting such products, we as a community, a society, a nation, the entire world, etc., would have to fully commit to the boycott and truly not purchase any of these products. And that would still take time because it would be a while before these products stop getting made and are no longer produced? And then if there is an abundance of products that have been made and are no longer sold, what then? I'm sure there will be those of you who have fantastic solutions, and I'm sure they truly would work. These are just the musings in my head, and sometimes I go off on strange tangents, wondering things like, are we really making a difference? Like at the end of the day, how much are we truly helping if we do go out of our way to help? I don't know. I'm sure what I think is dumb, and there are solutions out there, and even the tiniest bit of help truly does make a difference. I certainly hope so. Especially in this day and age where it sure feels like everything is doom and gloom. One of my much younger Gen Z brothers made a joke the other day saying, well, I might as well spend all my money on stupid things anyway, considering it's the end of the world and we're all going to die soon. Love that brilliantly optimistic outlook on life. I thought it was just him until one of the jobs I worked not too long ago happened to be filled with mostly 18 to 24-year-olds. Makes me feel really old. And they all had very bleak outlooks on life. Like, I don't feel like I believe the world is all sunshine and unicorns, but I don't think I feel like the end is nigh and that we're all doomed to die young anyway. So, might as well say, insert an appropriate word here, to life, which a lot of these young people have. I appreciate that they're going to therapy, but they sure joke a lot about their own mortality, and it worries me a bit. I talked to some who feel it's too late to bother to recycle, for example, because the earth is on its way out the door. I had one Gen Zer lecture me on the futility of homeless shelters and how there will never be enough on this earth to compensate for the negativities and devastations of this world. I'm sure I was sitting there with an absolutely bewildered look on my face as I just didn't know how to contribute to the conversation. What do I know? I'm just a dumb millennial over here apologizing for everything and worried I'm turning into my parents. Wow, this topic went off the rails. I started talking about diamond paintings and ended up freaking out about stuff that could hurt us and the morbidity of mortality. Sorry about that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you again soon.